this video, I will demonstrate my method of making a very invisible needle join. These instructions are also available on my blog at jessicaweifel.com and at the beginning of several of my patterns. I will be using US crochet terms throughout the video, and I will demonstrate the technique with a single crochet, double crochet, and half double crochet stitch. But the technique is basically the same for all stitches, so you can do it for pretty much any time when you want to do a single round in a color and make the join perfectly invisible. We're going to start with this single crochet version of this technique. The thing that I do to make this join particularly invisible is that I do not start with a slip stitch on the first stitch of the round. Instead, you're going to bring the yarn around the hook and just wrap it. This means that later we will be able to remove the top loop of the stitch and take it off so that we can replace it with the ending, the yarn at the end, making a seamless pattern. So I brought the yarn up and around. Now I'm going to bring it into the stitch that I have marked and make my single crochet just as I normally would. Sometimes it takes a little practice to get used to going through that first loop on your hook without a slip stitch, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty simple. And now I'm going to continue single stitching around until we get back to the beginning of the round. Alright, I've made it back around and we're going to complete the last single crochet of the pattern. Then I'm going to pull up a loop a little extra long so it doesn't fall out. We're going to snip the end and then pull this loop all the way out. Now we're going to thread the tail onto our tapestry needle. And then we'll use the tapestry needle to gently lift and remove the top loop of the first stitch of the round. Now we're going to replace that stitch using the tail by going in from front to back through the second stitch under both loops, put over and tight. Then you're going to bring the tapestry needle in through the top of the last stitch of the round and bring it back through, get a better angle, both the top loop and the third loop of that stitch. Now you pull it through and then we're going to adjust it so that that stitch is the same, about the same width as all the other ones. I should note here that for a single crochet, removing the upper loop of the stitch is the same as essentially starting with a slip stitch. So you can also just start with a slip stitch instead of making the provisional crochet stitch and removing the top. From the back, we have two tails. So what I like to do with these is cross them over each other. Get a little tangle. Just like that. Now you can either proceed to immediately tie in, weave in your ends, or if you don't know what's going to be happening in the next round, or if you might have to frog something, then you can also tie a little knot here. Or if you just like tying knots for security, you can tie a little knot and then weave in your ends. I think in this case I am going to weave in my ends along the upper edge because we're going to start the half double crochet just above this. So I'm going to take a minute to weave in these ends and then I'll come back to you with the start of the half double crochet round. Alright, now I have the ends. They're actually just woven up along the back bump of these single crochet stitches so that I can essentially crochet over them to weave in the ends. But now we're going to begin the half double crochet with join. So just like with a single crochet with join, we're going to bring the yarn, get some focus on there. We're going to bring the yarn around the crochet hook instead of using the slip knot. And then we're going to make a normal half double crochet. I'm going to perform it or start it in the same mark stitch that I did with the single join. A single crochet, that way we know which ones we have started in on every round. It'll be the same one. I normally actually space these around whenever possible or start opposite sides so that the ends are all scattered throughout, but for demonstration purposes they're going to be on the same side and the same stitch. All right, with the half double crochet, it's just like the single crochet. I do find it a slightly bit trickier to get it through that untied loop on the hook because of the nature of a half double crochet stitch. But again, finesse it a little bit. Once you get used to it, it's not too hard. Now again, I'll continue the round around with half double crochets until we get back to the beginning. All right, I have almost finished the round. I'm going to complete the last half double crochet right here. Excuse the focus, please. All right, with it complete, we're once again going to pull up a longer loop, remove the hook, snip the yarn, and pull this loop out. Then we will put it on the tapestry needle and use that tapestry needle to carefully remove the top loop of the first stitch. This one's a little stiffer. All right. With that loop out of the way, we're going to replace it once again by taking our tapestry needle and placing it through the second stitch of the round, front to back, and pulling through. Then we put the tapestry needle through the last stitch of the round, through the top and out through both the top loop, the third loop, and that extra loop that you get with a half double crochet at the bottom. Then once again we pull it tight until it is about the same size as all the other stitches. Once you have that tight, we can flip to the back. I've gone ahead and marked our same starting stitch in the back. And once again, we're going to just cross these over. I'm going to switch which thread goes over the other. All right. All right, now it's crossed over in the back. Now from here you can also see the original single crochet join is right here is where you can see the crossover. But other than that, it's very hard to see where this stitch starts or ends and is joined. Now again, I am going to go ahead and weave this in, these ends in over the top, and then we'll start on the double crochet round. All right, I have woven those ends along the top so that I can just crochet over them. And now I'm going to do the double crochet version of the invisible needle join. So once again, we're going to start the first stitch of the round by bringing the yarn up and around the hook without making a slip stitch knot. Then we'll make a standing double crochet just like normal in that first stitch of the round. So there's the standing double crochet in the starting stitch of the round. I'm going to double crochet all the way around until we get to the end, where we will finish it off. All right, I've made it all the way around. We're going to finish that last double crochet. And now we will pull up that last loop so it doesn't fall out. Snip it. And put the end on a needle, a tapestry needle. All right. So now I'm going to use the tapestry needle to carefully remove the top loop of the first stitch. Then we're going to replace it by going in through the second stitch from the front to the back under both loops. And then, my light's getting funky. We go in through the top of the last stitch, including through the third back loop, that loop in the back. All right, now we'll pull it closed and make sure that it's about the same distance as the other ones. So from the back, once again, we have the two tails, and we're going to loop them over each other. All right. Now again, you can either choose to weave in the ends of that right now, or you can go ahead and just tie a knot on it for later. I think for this one I'm going to tie a little knot on it because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this particular sample piece yet. And there you go. You can see on our half double and our single crochet that teeny tiny little overlap in the back. There's the tiny knot in the back of the double crochet that will be pretty much invisible once you have finished the round. And from the front, there is no difference between the first and last stitch and every other stitch of the round. All right, thank you for watching this video. I hope that it's been a helpful explanation of my invisible needle join method. If you have enjoyed this video, please take a minute to like and subscribe it. It doesn't cost anything, and it really helps me out. It also helps me to know if making more videos is worth my time, if everybody does or does not like to see them. You can also check out all of my patterns, which are linked off of my website, jessicaweifel.com. I don't have all that many patterns yet, but I do have more that will be coming out very soon. Thank you very much.